So, if you didn't attend my class yesterday, my name is Axel. I've been coaching here for around 10 years. What we're going to do today is we're going to do pressure guard passing, and it's mainly a way to pass the upright and specifically shin-to-shin guard. It can be used to pass the open guard where the opponent is on the back, but I mainly use it for the upright. This has been working really well for me, and to begin with we're going to get into a specific position, but I know it's kind of relative what people call pressure guard passing, but later I promise you will understand why I call it pressure guard passing. It becomes quite uncomfortable if you do it correctly. So he asked me to pick an uke with a different colored rash guard, so can I use it please?
Yes.
If you can come into the upright guard please. So, when I'm passing the upright guard, what I try to do is I'll lower my base down and I'll come slowly in. I'll take my time. I step in, and for me it does not matter if the opponent takes the shin to shin or lets me step past it. So, at least for now, I'll allow him to get the shin to shin and he'll try to grab here. Exactly. Now, what I need to do if we're going to my position is I need to get the underhook in. And most people aren't really that good at holding the leg really tight and then allow you to go directly in. But if he is really good and he's keeping his elbow like this, or he has his hand like this and touches his elbow in, what I'll do is I'll back up all the way here. I'll try to pull my leg back, make a little space here, my hand comes in between, and I'll always go for the underhook. And now I'm in a good position. Now I feel like I can go forward. And just so I show the end position, I want him on his back, and I want to be here. So his leg is on the inside of my thigh, my armpit is over, and I'll try to lie here. This is the position I want to get into. Now, I'll always add the underhook though, so I'll step in, I'll allow him to get the grip. If I can't get my hand immediately in between, I'll pull my knee back a bit, slide the hand in, and I'll kind of just sink in. Now when I go and push him down, I want to keep my weight as much back as I can. This is why I said, you got to take your time, you can't really push in. Because what he wants in this position, with this hook in here, is my weight placed above him. Now if I do that for him, if I place my weight too much above, he'll sweep me or lift me immediately. So I want to keep my weight back, and I want to preferably push my chest in and sink into my hips. So if I do this correctly and I have a good underhook here, and I'll sink in here, he'll try to lift me now, it's going to be much more difficult for him. Another important factor is I need to keep my hips leveled. If I tilt it one way or the other, it immediately becomes much easier for him to sweep me. So from here, my hips are level, he tries to lift me. He may lift me a little, but I'll always sink back down. Now, as soon as I tilt my hips, here, I'll get strapped. And the same thing, if I go the other direction, you'll be able to push me there. So from here, lean here, you can lift me with this leg. So, this is the most important thing about the pass itself, is I get the underhook, and then just getting used to being in this position, biding your time, letting the opponent make mistakes, and then we'll use those mistakes later to pass. So, I get in here, I push down, and I'll sink my weight back, keep my hips heavy and level, and he'll try to move me around, and I'll just get used to being in this position, feeling that I can control, and he's getting tired here. See, he's doing half a sit-up, trying to lift me with his legs. Eventually, people will kind of calm down and just lay on their back and just, stop trying. So this is exactly the position I want to get into. And you see him pushing my chest forward. I have the underhook. I'm really watching that he doesn't go here. If he tries to do this, I'll close with him immediately and push down. Okay, so just get used to this position. The person on the bottom is supposed to try to move me. If he manages to move me, I'm doing something wrong. I need to move my weight back, I need to level my hips, I need to watch that I have the correct underhook. And please switch on your own and just try to get a feel for the position. I'll be walking by and trying to assist you, but please raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, let's do it one more time. So he'll be in the upright guard. I'll step in, I'll allow him to get the shin to shin. If I cannot get the underhook in immediately, I'll pull my knee back a bit, make some space, put the underhook in, and now I'll just sink in, push him down, keep my weight back, hips leveled, and here, put some pressure. Okay, please find a partner. So, one thing I noticed, it's always good to see, people make the same mistakes. It makes me realize, I'm not coaching it right. I need to take better care of what I forget to mention. So, when I'm pushing here and I want to keep when I say I want to keep my hips level, as soon as one of my knees is higher than the other, my hip is automatically going to tilt. So I need to keep my knees level. But I don't want my knees completely on the ground, because then I'm automatically moving my weight forward a bit. So I want to keep them floating, but just above the ground. And I'm kind of spreading my knees apart and I'm pulling my weight in. Now I'm not a very heavy guy, so the weight factor I can push down on is not very much. But what I can do is have the correct weight placement, and I can add something that's called, at least I like to call it, compression factor. So if I have a good underhook here, I'm not only laying on the underhook, I'm actually pulling myself in. Now you can feel this sometimes in the side control. If you're against a good opponent and he gets the hand under, he'll kind of drag himself in and he'll feel much heavier than he actually is. It's the exact same thing I'm going to try to do. So I'll have the underhook, I'll push down, and I'll pull myself in. Here, I'll keep my weight leveled, and if he tries to move me now, it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so those are two things you can, yes, please.
See, you have one way on the chest, but isn't it since that you have on your above your hip? Because then you know you have all your weights there.
That's a very good point. But what I like to do is, because I pull myself in, I need the pressure against, So if I'm all the way up here, I can't pull as hard. But in certain positions, when I need to move, I'll have to lift up a little bit. We'll go over that later. But it's mostly to make room for my knee to be able to move to this side when we go for the knee slide pass. But I need to keep here so I can, use my compression factor correctly, so I can pull myself in. And also, if he does a sit-up, he's kind of helping himself. But if I keep down here and I'll have my head against his chest, it would be much harder for him to sit up. But that's a very good question. So, what we're going to add now, we're going to go to the exact same position, but we're going to completely envelop him with our arms. So I step in, he grabs, I'll go for the under, and if I possibly can, I'll also try to track this arm. Well, I don't really care if it's here or if it's here, but if I get the arm, it's much better. And I need to keep it at the elbow. If I'm too high, he'll be able to use his underhook to push me off. But if I'm low enough and I'm at the elbow, I'll kind of make him stuck. Now I'll grab here, the cable grip or the S grip. Now I'll push him down, and you can immediately feel like this is really uncomfortable. This is why I call it the pressure pass. And now my compression factor becomes much higher than my actual weight. If I'm pulling myself in here, I'm flattening myself out, he'll almost immediately sometimes just give up and let me pass. So one more time, I step in, goes here, I'll go with the pass, and if I can get the overhook on the elbow, I'll take that and I'll just push down and I'll just hold this position. And if he tries to move me here, you should feel it's really difficult and really tiring. And I can just smash him in this position. You can try it both with the overhook and the underhook. But go here, doesn't really matter, works as well. So you can feel really heavy, hard to move me. Any questions?
Because you're coming into, it almost looks like you're coming into a position he's going to pull you into by his position.
Yes.
Anyway. it almost seems like your opponent would invite you in.
Yes, it's exactly like that, because people think when they have the shin to shin, here, when you go for the X guard or the single leg X, you need to pull yourself back, and what he does, he pulls this leg in and he elevates me, But when I lower my base, it's going to be really hard for him to, lift this leg, because for me to lift this leg, I need to place all my weight on this leg. But if my base is really low here, and he tries to elevate me here, I'll keep my weight in a good position, and I'll go here, and if he tries to elevate me now, it's almost impossible. But that's a very good question. Okay, so let's add on to that, and try to remember, keep your knees leveled. Let's go for the underhook. And yes, one thing, if you grab too high, you'll have trouble. So you really try to go for the lower back as much as you can to, strap the elbow to his body. Okay, so let's go for the exact same position, but now add this grip. So please, same partners, switch on your own. Lower? Yeah. Even lower.
It's partly because he actually squeezes his back together and get closer.
Okay, let's bring it back in, please. Okay, if we understand this position and the pressure, all the passes kind of, make themselves. I'll go over 2 or 3 passes, but it all comes from just getting into this position, staying relaxed, because the opponent is going to really make the mistakes to allow you to pass if you just stay there, because it's so uncomfortable. So I'll step in, again, go for the underhook, and now we're going to go to the knee slap pass. And for this, you can choose whether you have the underhooks or if you just accept this. Now, one other thing I saw is that some people were immediately going over this hook. Now here, I'm already past, so I'll just take that. But what I'm kind of doing is I'm allowing the opponent to think that he has the control, because he has the shin to shin, he has the grip, he's putting his weight back and assuming he can lift your leg. And he needs to trust that this hook is in. So I'm just going to give him that. So I'll step in, I'll get my underhook, I'll think, oh yeah, you can keep me, you can probably lead me. But then, as soon as he feels the pressure, he doesn't have anything. So assume always that your opponent gets this butterfly hook. Because if he doesn't, he'll immediately start to scramble and come over. Okay, so going for the knee slide, I'm here, I'll push down, I'll just keep this pressure for a little bit. And when I go for the knee slide, I need to get this leg to the other side. Now, if you turn a little bit, you can see now he still has this hook. Preferably, I want to loosen that. So to loosen this hook, all I need to do is kind of shift it over. I need to move my weight a little bit, but preferably, I want to loosen this hook. While he still has this grip, it's going to be more difficult. So what I'll usually do is I'll just here, and I'll wait. I'll push him aside, and eventually people kind of give up on that grip. Because they can't use it, they'll start trying to push me with a hand or whatever, and now going over is much easier. So I just broke the shin to shin, but it's because he has no use with his arm anymore. He can't really do anything with it. So before we go for the knee slide, we go over. Okay, stop here. And when I go for the knee slide now, I pulled in so tight. Let's try again. I pulled in so tight that my knee doesn't have any space to move. So what I need to do is I need to lift myself a little bit up. From here, I'll have to shift over. Now I have to lift a little bit. And what I do before I go for the knee slide is I'll shift my weight to the side a little bit. Because if I go for the knee slide here, you can see my weight is still placed directly above him, and he can use this hook to sweep me over. So from here, I'll lift myself up a little bit. I'll just take a little side step. Now immediately here, if I go for the knee slide, you see his weight or his hips shift to the side, and if he tries to lift me, it's almost impossible for him. So just move like 5 centimeters to the side, if that. Makes it much easier with the weight placement. So again, here, I'll have to shift over the shin. I'll lift myself up a little bit, shift to the side, and now I grab the elbow, keep the underhook tight, and I'll just easily go for the knee slide. And I'm pulling myself in with the underhook after I shift the weight to the sides. I'm here. Remember, if you can't get the underhook in directly, knee back, here, push in, shift over, up, to the side, grab the elbow, and push in. Okay, so let's, any questions?
The hand on the, you keep the hand on the lower back or not?
Yes, I keep the hand on the lower back. And you can do this, like I said, either with one side or, with a double grip. I can do this here, over, up, to the side, and now I don't even need to grab the elbow, I just kind of push myself in. And people will usually just give you this pass because it's so uncomfortable on the lower back to get squished like this. Okay, please switch on your own, I'll walk by.
I'll put this grip here.
Okay, bring it back in, please. When you're taking the side step, please be mindful that you don't tilt your hips while you do. So when I say side step, I mean like my hips are level and I just move my weight a little bit to the side. But if I start doing this to make space, you'll be able to lift me. Okay, and with the underhook, I want to have it as deep and as low as I can, because once I go for the knee slide, if I don't have proper underhook, if I'm kind of just like here, and I'll shift my weight, and he goes for his underhook now, on this side, and I'll go for the knee slide, he'll take my back. So that's why the underhook is so important, and that's why I do not put my weight forward until I have the underhook, even if it takes me half a minute. The paddle is here, and he'll keep really tight. Now, I won't put my weight forward until I have a good underhook and I trust that I can pull it even deeper. So sometimes, when he's already on his back, I'll allow him to come up a little bit, I'll move my weight even more back to get it even deeper and grab here. Yeah, so that makes it more uncomfortable. Okay, so that's one pass, that's the knee slide pass. What we can do is we can go to the other side as well. We have to go over this hook then. But what most people do wrong when they're trying to go over the hook is they'll lift their leg up and tilt their hips, and that automatically, kind of sweeps me. So if I'm trying to loosen this hook, I don't want to do this because I'll get swept. So what I'll do is I'll have the underhooks, and I will push my hips down, and I'll just slide them to the side. And even if he has this hook in good, it's going to be really difficult for him to hold it while I shift my weight to the side. If I have the double underhooks. Here, push down, and when I want to go over, I'll push it even more down, keep my hips level the whole time, and I'll end up in this position. And now I can just either squeeze him here, make life more comfortable, or I can move to the side control. One more time, here, I get the underhook, other side, I push him down, and instead of lifting my leg, I'll just straighten it out and lower my hips even more here. And even if he tries to keep the hook in, it's going to be really difficult for him if I start shifting, because his lower back and his hip is so stuck. So what he needs to do to follow is shift his hip and lift. But if his hips are stuck, we'll only be able to do this. And once my hips are past, it doesn't have a hook anymore. Okay, so one more time. Here, and I'll push the leg down, hips are level the whole time until my knee passes his knee, and then I move it up to the hip. Okay, let's add that and try it, please.
I do feel like I want to stretch my leg.
Yeah, you're getting it.
That's Okay, it's said this guard pass is kind of reactive depending on what the opponent does. And for this pass, to go to this side, it's mostly you break the will of the opponent to live. So it's much easier to squeeze him and go to the side. But for the knee slide, because I got a question about that, I mostly do it when people try to elevate me a little bit. I'll move my weight to the side and then I'll go for the knee slide. So if the person tries to elevate you, just move the weight to the side, and then you can go for the knee slide. But this, it has to be static. You have to be pulling down, and the opponent just kind of waiting for your move, and then you can go to the side. And one thing that happens to me a lot is people will go with this hook to the outside. I don't know why people do it, but it makes the pass even easier. So I'm here, I'm going for the pass, I'll be pushing in, and he'll try to move the leg on the outside. Because maybe he's trying to catch me in the half guard or something. But while I have this pressure, and I keep my toe to the ground, he will not be able to hook in for the half guard. You can see if he tries to hook his legs together, he's just stuck. Whether it's here or it's here. He'll not really be able to, especially if I have the underhook. And from this position, I just kind of have to push in, keep this hook, while I shift my legs here. So I'll go from, I'll go from here, here, and I'll just pass. And a lot of people do this mistake. So let's try. So I'm here, I pass. People move this leg to the outside. I'll just stay like this, and I'll shift these legs together, and I'll pass. If you have difficulty like crossing your legs like I did, what you can try to do is push the legs to the outside to give you as much space as you possibly can to just move the weight over. Because if I loosen this before this leg is up, he'll catch me in a half guard. One more time. I'm here, push down. His leg comes on the outside. I'll keep the pressure, I'll switch legs over, and I'll just finish passing. And this is one of the easiest passes from this position. Okay, do you want to see it again? Or try to go on? Okay, let's just try it then. Great, let's bring it back in. Okay, there are some other passes that I like to do here. Maybe I'll just show them later. But what I do now is give you some opportunity to test this with some progressive resistance from the opponent. So I'll try to do any of these passes, but first and foremost, just try to get into the correct position to begin with. Because if you understand the weight placement and the underhooks and all the concepts there, everything is going to be so much easier, and you're even going to invent your own passes from this position. So first and foremost, it's the position and then the passes. So I'll step in, and do not put your weight forward until you're sure you have a good underhook. So here, and now he'll try to move me, he'll even try to sweep me, but I'll be relaxed, keep the position, and now you can go for one of these 3 passes, or you can try to even invent your own. You go for the double underhook, really smash the opponent, don't be too mean though. And I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes each. But please, for the person on the bottom, progressive resistance. So if he's sweeping me all the time immediately, it's not that I'm doing something wrong, he's doing something wrong, because it's an exercise for the person on top. Okay, so please just same partners, 3 or 4 minutes each. I'll set the clock and let you know when the switch. Okay, do we have any questions?
Do you find that when you leave your arm under their back, sometimes it's easier for them to sweep you and send you that way because you can't pose? I've just found that from my...
For which pass? All of them or?
The one that I was doing was the one where you sprawl your leg and you go around.
Okay.
And my hand was under her back as we...
Yeah.
I felt like she still had the hook and sort of I couldn't really pose.
Yeah. There, it's not an issue of you holding, it's an issue of tilting the hip. Because your hip is, if it's low enough, trying to lift someone, because when you kick your leg out, the weight moves even more back. And I'd have to have my hips completely stuck and try to lift the person here, with the weight distribution all the way over there. It's going to be very difficult unless you tilt your hip, then it becomes easier. So if you just squeeze the opponent's hip, and you straighten your leg out, and you keep your hips flat while you move to the side, it should not be an issue.
So all I need to think of is my hips and the opponent hips being
exactly.
on the ground.
I never have issues of getting, almost never, in this position, even against much bigger and stronger guys. Okay, I think. but very good question. Anything else? Okay, I hope you can apply this. I mean, just the concepts of, the weight placement is so much fun. And like I said, the compression factor, hopefully you can maybe add this to your side control to make yourself seen a bit heavier when you're just pulling yourself into the opponent. This is what I do a lot because I don't have the weight, but I can have the compression. So thanks everyone so much for attending the class, and I'll see you later for the free rolls.